What is going on, everybody? Welcome to MLB Live Before Lock, presented by Stokastic. I'm Eric Lindquist. You can follow me at Eric Lindquist over on X. Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit of scene coming off of the NFL streets, and obviously, I'm very invested in the NFL streets today, which is why I'm wearing this beautiful jersey that Lofty got me, actually. So shout out to Lofty for sending this my way. Old school AP jersey action. Feel good about that, but I also feel good that on this Monday, I'm not going to get berated by Greg. No. Although there's still a chance of that happening. Never say never. But Fantasy Tips Matt, my guy Matt Bellman here in the streets. We've been talking MLB here Thursday, Friday, and now on Monday. How you doing, my dude?
Good, man. Happy to be talking some MLB with you. I love it when you call it scene. Gets me excited all over.
Oh,
so now
it sounds nasty and naughty.
Yeah, it does. Now, yes, it does. Now, ultra excited to talk out this slate with you. Monday Night Football. Your team is playing. I'm a huge Ohio State fan. My cousin, who I'm very close with, went to Michigan, is a huge Michigan fan, and absolutely loves J.J. McCarthy. So excited to see this game tonight. Not that like one game means everything, but excited for what should be. Listen, is it the best game of the weekend? Probably not, but after months of no Monday Night Football, take what we can get.
I will take absolutely any football whatsoever right now. Obviously, there is nothing that could prepare. Like J.J. McCarthy could be great. He could be awful. I have no idea what to make of anything. I have no idea. I have no clue. I have no clue. I have no expectations. I'm literally just focused on MLB today to try to keep my nerves down. I hate that I'm a Minnesota sports fan. I absolutely hate it. It's probably my character flaw, if we're being honest, Matt.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you're talking to a Cleveland fan, so maybe one of the few places that hard to have sympathy. I am a sympathetic person, though, so I feel bad for you. But as a Cleveland fan, like, man, I feel you. Like, it's tough. It is really, really tough.
Should have won that football game. It makes no sense you didn't yesterday.
I mean, yeah. The Browns not winning that game is just so Browns-like. It's unbelievable.
I don't even know. We were talking a little bit before the show, so I don't want to spoil the goods too much. We've got tons of NFL content that'll be starting up here this week. Obviously, after this show, we've got Greg Ehrenberg and I believe Lofty that are going to be breaking down the NFL showdown. So obviously Vikings Bears, that'll be going right after this program at 7:15 p.m. Eastern time, 4:15 Pacific, leading you up to lock. 1 hour show. So we've got an hour here. They've got an hour there. There's an hour everywhere. Let's go make some money, shall we? Oh, we have the Wild to cheer for. Also, Tom Wilson, what happened to your avatar? It just went purple. What the heck? It's not what I'm used to seeing, but got to swap over to the greatest sport. I think I'm good. I'll pass for now. I love playoff hockey, but also, I don't know, I've won a couple of GPPs. I have a couple 25K scores from NHL back in 2020, 2021. Those are good times, but haven't been in the NHL streets for a while because there is no time in my life for such things, and I love my wife.
Did the NHL even start? Like, is that season started already?
It's another month and a
half. Doesn't that really kind of match up with the NBA?
Yeah, it does. Almost exactly. Like, usually they start a little bit early, but like, I feel like the NBA has gone from like Halloween, and then they moved it up a week, and then they move it up another week, and then they move it up another week, and then we have NBA going until like June, which is just insanity when you think about it. But NHL mirrors, October 7th. Yeah, that's going to be a week earlier than the NBA starts. I believe it's October 14th or 13th. The NBA season starts this year. Riddle me that, Batman. We've got tons to get to here on this one. Anything about this slate that really stands out to you want to touch before we start diving in?
So, a lot of slates we have like mediocre pitching and mediocre stacks. Not the case here.
No.
Elite pitching and elite stacks. So, for an 8-game slate, there's a lot of good options, like all over the place.
I can't wait. I love this slate. I mean, if it weren't for NFL Showdown, I mean, we would have. I played in a lot of contests today. There is this 1-1-1 that the Immaculate Inning. I think it's a really good contest. I might throw a lineup in that, especially, having a pretty decent NFL Sunday yesterday. I'm like, the balances are flush. They're feeling nice. They're feeling a little Gucci. Maybe I'm feeling a little Gucci today where I want to fire up a couple lineups in that one. So we'll talk through it, see if I want to enter that before it fills. But we've got NFL Showdown here, and this is an awesome opportunity if you haven't taken advantage of it yet. Matches my background today because purple, skull, all the things. Get 30% off any NFL monthly package we've got going. Use code football. That's at Stokastic.com here. What does it give you? Well, everything. Our player projections, ownership projections, and of course, the coup de grace, the Sims tool. The MLB and NFL Sims tool. If you guys haven't utilized it yet in these sports, I don't really know what to tell you. Once NBA comes around, it's an absolute print fest. Everything about what we got rocking here at Stokastic is beautiful for you. Plus, we got 10% off an NFL yearly or all access package. Both of these deals are done today. Use code BIRD if you know you're going to be around for a full year and you're going to be in the streets. Well, get 10% off now. Lock it in. Lock it in, baby. We're going to lock in here on this show, but 30% off using code football if you want to go the monthly route, and 10% off all of it, everything, all of the sports in the all access packages, 10% off using code BURR at the video description box below. Alrighty, my friend, I cannot believe how good this slate is when you really think about it. For just a 8-game slate. I mean, I feel a little bit spoiled. And all right, just wanted to double check. But the one thing that I think we can both agree on is Colorado is not in Coors today, and they're facing a strikeout pitcher. And when you face Colorado and you are a strikeout pitcher, this shit happens. Whew, darling. Top 150, no matter how, no matter where, no matter what you do with the Sims tool today, it is impossible not to be just jamming Tyler Glasnow at 8,700. But we have two expensive pitchers to discuss first.
That are like really good. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Garrett Crochet and Logan Webb specifically. Brian Wu taking on St. Louis as well. They don't strike out as much. It's a better strikeout lineup than normal. Nolan Arenado still out. Alec Burleson out. Like, these are opportunities still for him to go out, I suppose, and have an all right outing. But the strikeout stuff we've seen from Logan Webb this year is revelatory. And it's always been the case for Garrett Crochet, who is 11K in a AAA ballpark. This ownership number could be anything. It could be 30. It could be 45. I have no clue how the field's going to handle Crochet. I think we all know how the field's going to handle Tyler Glasnow, which is why he's projected for 1 billion% ownership. But talk to me about these three expensive guys. You play in the largest stakes tournaments over on DraftKings, the big whoppers. I want to know your plan of attack with these 10K pitchers today on DraftKings.
So, man, this is tough. And I think, to echo your sentiments, it is a great slate. There's everything you could really want on an MLB slate, which is awesome. So I'm with you. I love it going in. Doesn't mean it's going to work out, but I love it going in. Glasnow is probably the key to the slate, what you do with him. Obviously, really hard to get away from him. But before I talk about him, I'll talk about the guys that make it possible to get away from him. I mean, you've got 3 of the top 10 MLB, pitchers overall, certainly DFS pitchers in Crochet, Webb, and who's the third one?
Crochet, Webb, and Wu.
Yeah, Crochet, Webb, and Wu. And I would order them Crochet, Wu, and Webb.
Oh, okay.
Crochet,
you're going the Wu route.
Yeah, so first, I'll just in order. Crochet is the most expensive, but he's the best of all. Right there with Scooble as like the top pitcher as far as DFS goes in baseball. Tough ballpark for him, and I really like the Red Sox stack. But this is a great matchup in terms of the Athletics lineup against him. Most of their best hitters, a lot of their best hitters are left-handed. Obviously, that doesn't match up well with Crochet. The only concerns here are the ballpark, but his strikeout upside is, right there with Glasnow. Then you move on to Wu, who is just about as consistent as it gets. Goes into the 6th inning more than any other pitcher in baseball. Phenomenal at home, much like most of these other Seattle pitchers, and gets an easy matchup against St. Louis at home, who has been striking out at an alarming rate against right-handed pitching, since the trade deadline, basically however far back you want to go. So the matchup's really, really good for Wu. Webb, Webb at home, he's in the worst matchup on paper against Arizona. Their lineup certainly isn't as good as it was a few months ago without Suarez and Naylor. Still, Carroll, Marte, Perdomo. They've got a good lineup, but in San Francisco, where Webb has been very good for years, he's also a really good look. Because of their price tags, none of them are going to look as good as Glasnow from a point per dollar standpoint. But it wouldn't be surprising if any of them outscored Glasnow, because any of these guys have slate breaking upside on their best day.
Agreed. They all do. But now the question just becomes, again, like, our job is trying to parse through what we can do to differentiate from the field, or where we're happy being alongside the field. And I'll just point this out, kind of where our ownership is. We've pooled together, how many is in the field of lineups that we've made here. If you guys use this over the NFL weekend, broke some of it down on Live Before Lock, which was a lot of fun yesterday. Thanks to everybody for tuning in. But we're looking at 46% exposure here on Garrett Crochet, who's the dude. And it's terrifying. He's coming off of his worst outing of the entire year. And he's $11,000 on a slate where we have some stacks that we want to get up to. We also have some cheapies that we can rotate around as well. But I mean, for me, the push and pull of this slate is just looking at his strikeout prop and knowing that even in an outing where he got completely shelled last time out against Cleveland, he still found, enough swing and miss, only 4 strikeouts, but 4 home runs, a little bit of an outlier. I'm not freaking out too much about it, but I will say it's uncomfortable to have him be the stand as opposed to a Logan Webb who induces a ton of ground balls, who's had a spike in his strikeout rate. And Garrett Crochet is somebody that I pointed out coming into this year where I thought his baselines were too high. They were just way too high at 36, 37% for a K rate. And a lot of it was just based off of my assumption that him going from a 60-pitch guy when he was with Chicago to a 100-pitch guy, he was probably going to see a dip in that strikeout rate. I thought Zips and Steamer were a little too aggressive coming into the year on him. And that's kind of come to fruition. He's still at 30.5%. But I think the big story is that we have a strikeout immune and an amazing ballpark for Logan Webb. And at the same time that this is an Arizona lineup that showed some promise at times, they've shown promise in really good ballparks for hitting. This is not a good ballpark for hitting. And Gabriel Moreno up to the 4 hole here, doesn't strike out a ton, but I mean, you're getting righty in the middle of that. You're getting Blaze Alexander in the 6 hole, righty. They tried to get as many lefties up there as they humanly possibly could, but there's not a ton for me as I look at Logan Webb that has me all that concerned. He has a 24% K rate against lefties. He's got a 150 expected ISO against lefties. You got to be good against lefties taking on Arizona now that Eugenio Suarez is gone. I suppose Josh Naylor gone too, so I don't want to say all the lefties are just better there. But how are you feeling about Logan Webb? Because I think he's my favorite of the 3 for large field tournaments.
I like Webb. Just to touch on your Crochet points, because I don't disagree with you. I'll flip it a little bit and say with these ace pitchers, top of the line guys, which Crochet certainly is, I like them in bounce back starts because, he's coming off his worst start, but what are we not playing him because of that? Yeah, certainly it makes you feel less comfortable, but I think his upside is higher than Webb's. I think that if you told me I think that Webb has a better, Webb losing my floor. I think his floor is not necessarily higher. It probably is, but if you told me one of these guys scored 20 fantasy points, I would think it's Webb. If you told me one of them scored 30 plus, I'd think it's Crochet. And I think, to your point, Crochet's floor is lower. I like Webb here. I'm not scared of the Arizona lineup. I certainly think it's a worse matchup as far as the lineup goes than the Athletics, but then you weigh that with the ballpark. I totally get liking Webb at his discounted price more than Crochet. I understand liking Woo more. I think it's more of there are other really good pitchers on this slate besides Glasnow, but he's kind of the elephant in the room where it's really hard not to play him.
Yeah, Glasnow is insane. I mean, he's projected for more than 2 fantasy points higher than Garrett frickin' Crochet. Just think about that. Context is just wild. And I will say this, if I'm trying to get away from playing 100% Tyler Glasnow, let's keep in mind that he had back tightness. He is somebody who legitimately got his start pushed back. They ended up having Shohei start that Friday instead of the Saturday in Baltimore. And so if you're trying to poke holes in what Tyler Glasnow is in this spot, you could say, I don't want to play 100% in 20 max or 150 max or whatever you might be firing up today. because you could say, oh, there's injury risk there, or maybe like, 5-10% chance, which is very low probability outcome. But like, if you just look at the stuff and how he grades out on paper versus this Colorado just dungy, terrible, awful, no good, very bad lineup, I don't see how you don't get away from just jamming Glasnow today. Maybe you have a couple insurance stacks, but there's only so many lefties that they can roll out there. And Tyler Glasnow mows down righties, 35.7% K rate against them on the season. And I'm just waiting for, a day where Tyler Freeman gets out of this leadoff spot because, for the most part, he's annoying and very good at avoiding the strikeouts. But you get the other righties, Goodman, Beck, Tovar, Bernabel, Karros, Ritter. Why are there 7 righties in this lineup today, Matt? It makes no sense. Like, can they not go find some lefties off the street? Because that's the only thing that would keep Tyler Glasnow in check, and he's just breaking my model today.
Yeah, it's tough to make lineups that simulate well without Glasnow. And I don't agree with that. Like, I think that that's a little bit too far just because of the range of outcomes on all 4 of these pitchers. But he's the cheapest. On his best day, he's as good as the top pitcher on the slate, Crochet. I mean, he is. Like, on Glasnow's best day, Crochet's best day, like, give me Crochet, but it's real close as far as their strikeout upside. And he's in the best possible matchup you could get at a far reduced price tag. So when you put it like that, it's a free square. I do think, again, the range of outcomes with these 4 pitchers in general is probably wider than the projections are indicating. But based on projections, man, it's damn hard to get away from it.
I don't see how you get away from it. I mean, it's a good hitter's ballpark. It's pretty hot outside for what it's worth. I can walk outside and know that. But boy, oh boy, friends, there's just nothing that's stopping me from knowing that we can play ad nauseum Tyler Glasnow and then try to get different elsewhere. And so here we are trying to get different elsewhere. We got this next range, and it just gets cheap. It falls off a cliff. Jose Quintana taking on Texas. Jacob Latz taking on Milwaukee in that same spot. I mean, the negative simulated player ROIs here, I mean, it's just abysmal until you get to Yu Darvish. And Yu Darvish, we have 6 games in the evening window? It's beautiful times for the late slate. Late slates are going to be popping, especially if NFL's not going well for me or, my Vikings suck. I look at Yu Darvish as somebody that you can kind of go both sides of it for it, but Cincinnati, it's been brutal. How do you feel about these cheapies down here? Who are we kind of latching on to?
Yeah, it's Darvish as far as like the cheap guy goes for me. I really don't want to get away from the top guys, but you take the Cincinnati team out of Cincinnati and move them to San Diego, and then you get Darvish, who's a lot better at home. I think that you're giving up a lot getting away from the top pitching because Darvish certainly doesn't have like the workload that those top guys will have, but he's too cheap. And there are expensive bats to like on this slate. So Darvish is the guy for me. If I have to get away from the top guys, Darvish is the one I'm looking at because there's a pretty clear dichotomy on this slate of really good pitching and then guys that stink.
Yeah, there is definitely that. I do not disagree in any way, shape, or form, but I, at the same time, think we want to find
Darvish is in the middle. He's the only guy in the middle.
Well, I mean, he's the only guy that I think shows any kind of promising upside. The one guy that's not showing up on your screen in any way, shape, or form that I'm curious what you think about is Morales against Boston. He's been really good, really, really good over the course of his last few starts here, but he's 8K. And if you're going to pay 8K for him, you might as well just go up to the tippy top and find yourself in the Crochet Woo Webb range. I don't find a lot of lineups where I need to have Luis Morales. I do have a lot of lineups where I need to find something sub 7K. And that's where Darvish, I think, has the utility, where if you told me somebody spikes some upside in this range, he'd definitely be the guy. Has he been the same pitcher? Absolutely not. 5.75 ERA, but that's a little bit of a mirage. 1.18 whip. The strikeouts are there. And there's not a lot about Cincinnati that I find to be all that difficult in terms of the matchup. I think you could probably do worse than that. Plus, he's got a lot of righties that he's getting in this lineup as well. Marte, Hayes, Steer, Hayes, another Hayes, that is, Trevino, McLean. Like, eventually McLean will be back up in the top 3, I would hope. But, man, there's so many strikeouts still available at the bottom half of that lineup outside of Trevino.
Yeah, I'm out on Morales. I understand it given how he's pitched so far, but I'm not buying it.
Yeah,
I'm all in on Boston tonight, so a little preview to the stat section. Yeah, but I understand Morales because he's pitched well, and this Red Sox lineup hasn't been great, but his ERA is like 1.5. His expected ERA is 4.5. A lot of his other expected metrics are far worse than his actual, so might not come back down to earth tonight, but I think it very well could. So I'm on the Boston side there.
Yep. Turn that fan down for me a tiny bit as well. You're all good. Just to make sure that it's not blasting too much there. But ambient noise.
It's my fault.
You're okay. It's all right, baby.
When I do shows with EMAC, like last night, he never ever mentions the fan. So I just totally forget about it.
I'd make an old person joke right now, but I'm above that.
Well, he probably just can't hear it. So I'm not above it.
I love what you did there. It made me very happy. Anytime we can throw a geriatric born in 1849 EMAC joke in there, I am so unbelievably here for it. Holy crap. Jalen Johnson's inactive tonight? I'm not sure what everybody else is up to, but you might want to get a couple of props on God. I mean, that would have been primary Justin Jefferson world. Okay. Anyway, let's get ourselves back into this MLB slate. Jalen Johnson, the best player on the Chicago Bears defense.
Yeah, that is bizarre.
Whatever. All right, we continue on our merry way. Anything else that you like here on the cheap? Because Miles Michaelis sure ain't it in a bag of potato chips, but Simeon Woods Richardson gets the Angels. I want to at least talk about it because it's required viewing on every single one of these shows. It's a pitcher with an arm attached to his body pitching against the Angels. That should be enough. Does Simeon Woods Richardson have any utility to you whatsoever?
When you put it like that, I don't see why not. But other than that, no. If I were playing 150, then definitely, because the Angels are also going to be really popular, and it is a righty going against them. He's not good, though, and I'm not putting my money on him being good tonight. So fading the Angels is like, I don't want to say scary, but tough enough on this slate. I don't want to go that deep and play Woods Richardson. I think if he's, when I say that, again, in 150 settings, I would have some, because if the Angels fail that hard, then he probably pitches well because they strike out a lot. But I'm hoping kind of a medium outcome plays out, which is likely to happen. So I'm not going to play Woods Richardson here, no, although I get it.
I am. I don't even like Simeon Woods Richardson. I usually don't like guys who are wearing Minnesota Twins jerseys who throw baseballs, but this one I can get behind. He is 6%. He's 6,300. He's way on the cheap. I would not do this over on FanDuel, which we will jump to and talk about here in a second. By the way, FanDuel, I don't think it's ironic that they filled every contest super early coming off of yesterday, where everybody deposited and played 150 in the $5. Pretty good decision-making by them. I was shocked how early MLB filled today, but everybody got that money back into their account, and now they're ready to rock. And MLB looks like a lot of people playing over there today. I'm definitely playing over there a lot in the NFL streets tonight, but Skull, indeed. I just want to shout that out because it's required. But back to Simeon's Woods Richardson, just to point it out. He's not good. He has an 11.6% barrel percentage. He's a fly ball pitcher. This is probably not going to go well, but slider curve, both of them are pretty good offerings to righties. Both of them should have an opportunity to see a spike in type of upside. Plus, with 6 games late, I'll be able to kind of see and accumulate data of what all of the earlier pitchers did and be able to have some idea of if I need to go on the cheap or if I should just be paying up for some type of quote unquote security for Crochet Web. All 3 of them are in the evening window. So when it comes down to it, I think there's going to be a lot of lineup adjusting that I'm going to make based on the 5 games of data. And then we have so many late swap pivot spots that maybe I want to get a little bit more Simeon Woods Richardson. Maybe I want to get a little bit less. But I do think if there's nothing that pops cheap in the early ones, I will absolutely play Simeon Woods Richardson.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. If you're like, it's not like he's bad, so I'm not playing him, but I like the leverage he presents. I don't have anything endearing to say about him other than the matchup, but
me either. But
the matchup's enough.
The matchup's enough. And, sometimes a man must have a code, and my code.
Like, these are the spots where mediocre to bad pitchers like Wood Richardson have good games. These are also the spots where mediocre to bad offenses like the Angels have good games. So it is kind of likely that one side or the other has good game here, especially with how they're priced. So I get it.
I mean, it's a both sideser, but like, yeah, I'm not going to play more than like 15% for what it's worth. It's just simply looking at my lineups right now, and I don't want to tell you something that I'm not going to do, and I want to be honest with what I plan on doing. What I plan on doing right now is playing more than I should of Simeon Woods Richardson. But let's kind of recap the DraftKings side of things before we move over to FanDuel. Tyler Glasnow, I think, is probably number one, unless you're a crazy person today. You can definitely have some Colorado. You could definitely say something about the back, but from a projection standpoint, Tyler Glasnow is breaking everything. But give me your favorite expensive pitcher and your favorite cheap pitcher to combine him with.
I'm going to say cheap pitcher, Darvish for sure. Expensive pitcher, it's tough. I'm going to say Crochet, but that's the other reason why Glasnow looks so good, because the other three guys, it's hard to distinguish between them.
Yeah, I think if Webb gets left by the side of the road, I'm going to be taking some shots on Webb here against Arizona. It's just such a good ballpark, and he is so good in it. Yeah, I think the strikeout stuff has been much improved. I didn't expect this kind of a change for him, and the ground balls are always there. I guess the only concern I would have is that he's probably on the one team of the three that doesn't have a lot of incentive to have him go out and pitch 100, but like, I don't project him.
I don't know. They're like kind of back in the race a little bit.
Yeah, it feels like AL and NL, like the last 2 years since they've expanded it, it's been more fun because I don't feel like teams shut guys down as early as they did once upon a time. I felt like this time of year before, we were like, oh, everybody's hitting eject. And now even Joe Ryan's actually hitting eject on his own season and his own money that he would be making this offseason. So bad decision-making by him on a team that's given up. Minnesota, hi, how are you? But definitely feel as though Simeon Woods Richardson, he's my cheapie. Logan Webb going to be my expensive guy. God help us all. Let's jump over to FanDuel here as we discuss this. Tyler Glasnow over on FanDuel. I should probably click on FanDuel. That's step number one. Oh, there is our friend Emac. Just wanted to say hello while we're at it here. All right, let's create this. Let's take a look. It's in our book, Reading Rainbow. Garrett Crochet is your mega chalk. Logan Webb, and then Brian Wu. FanDuel at least was aware that Tyler Glasnow was facing Colorado, and he's only 26.17% owned here on that one. But these four, Yu Darvish thrown into the midst here too at 7,700. These five, I suppose, they're really the only pitchers I would entertain on a one pitcher site. Like, I can't make a case for Simeon Woods Richardson on a one pitcher site other than like maybe Price, but then you have Yu Darvish there, so it wouldn't be a thing. Is there something on a one pitcher site here that stands out to you? Quarter of lineups with Tyler Glasnow. Everybody else 10% out of those five that I talked about. Who's your favorite of the bunch at ownership?
I don't look at it as that different from DK because I think all these guys are so close. And, you know, I think if I had to choose a favorite right now, I will say, you know, they're all priced so close together too. I'll say Crochet because the pricing difference is not as steep and he's still less owned than Glass. That shows you what kind of play Glasnow is on DraftKings though.
Correct.
At FanDuel.
Joke.
Yeah. Like on FanDuel, he's priced with these guys and he's still by far the highest owned. So it's Crochet for me, but I get all of them. And yeah, they all look good here. On a lot of slates, they all would be the top pitcher.
Agreed. Brian Wu's my favorite over here purely because the 6 innings, and normally that's what Logan Webb's specialty is. If they're going to keep Logan Webb in the mid 90s, I don't feel as warm and fuzzy about him. He's generally been a FanDuel du jour guy for me, and we haven't projected a fantasy point better than that of Woo for $100 more, which is pretty negligible. I'm with you where like Glasnow Crochet probably makes the most sense there. You're getting to the tippy top range. Garrett Crochet, you look at all of his props today. It's a joke. It's an absolute joke, but his risk of ruin is definitely up there as well. 10-8. It's still a spot where I think you could probably see this get to like 20, and you could probably see Woo or Webb get down sub 10%. I think Woo's the most likely of them, and he's the one that I feel the most confident between Webb and such. Like, life is really, really good. Kyler Gordon's out too. Who's playing cornerback for the Bears today? This is going to be wild. They're going to be covering that for you on NFL Live Before Lock right after this program. And if you're interested to get the Sims tool here as we're covering, Christian Darrisaw inactive as well. All right. Knew something bad was going to happen to Minnesota while we were at it. Crap. No left tackle is bad. No left tackle is bad, but 30% off the monthly package. I guarantee you our ownership will be updated for such information. Our player projections will be updated for such information. 30% off the monthly package using code FOOTBALL. Would love to have you guys there. Plus, we've got this amazing deal too. If you're going to be around for the entire year, if you know you're going to be playing NBA DFS, if you know you're going to be playing when it comes back around MLB DFS in March next year, lock in 10% off with the NFL yearly or all access packages using code BIRD. Once again, code FOOTBALL, code BIRD. Every time I do it, I feel like I'm in the FBI saying like code signals, but I think they're pretty great deals. Sims Tools made me a lot of money in a lot of different sports, including yesterday. I think it can make you a lot as well. Come kick it and take it over at Stokastic.com. Would love to have you there. Alrighty, y'all. Last day to take advantage of that too. Wanted to throw that in as well. Use code FOOTBALL or code BIRD. Video description box below. I don't have a lot else to talk about on FanDuel, so we're going to get ourselves over to the stack department where we're going to spend our last half hour. We're going to build out a lineup or two, probably for DraftKings and FanDuel for single entry purposes, and we're going to go along our merry way and turn it over to NFL Live Before Lock, because let's be serious, we're all going to be playing that here as well, but one stack to rule them all, one stack to find them. We don't have a ton as far as like being, like there's no Coors Field or anything, but there is surely a stack that I want to get to for single entry. I'm curious who your selection is though, Matt. Favorite stack of the day for DraftKings.
Yeah, my favorite stack is easily Boston.
Yep.
They're just my favorite stack by far. I talked about Morales, how I think he's coming back down to earth sooner rather than later. You get this ballpark. They're uber expensive, which means they're not going to be owned as high as the cheaper teams. I'm all in on Boston here. They're by far my favorite stack. It's not really that close. There's other good stacks, don't get me wrong. But at their ownership, I love the spot they're in. Again, they haven't been great recently. They struggled a bit in Arizona this weekend, but a buying sign I love, especially with good offenses like this. They scored 6 runs in the 8th and 9th innings yesterday, or 7th and 8th, something like that. I love that going into today in a really good matchup for them. So I'm all in on the Red Sox here. Their ownership is just a coup de grace for me.
Yeah, I didn't say yep as in that was my team, but I definitely remember you bringing that up as well. I think you can make a case for either of the LA teams. I think Chase Dollander must pay for his sins for sure. You get Max Muncy back in that lineup batting cleanup. That is a big deal for a Dodger team that has been begging for him to get back. And, well, he's back. Month later, Max Muncy, first base and third base eligible, which makes life a little bit easier. But no, friends, look what jersey I'm wearing. Look what jersey I'm wearing. You think that I'm going to be on the NFL home opener, and in single entry, I'm going to get to go up against Caden Dana, this individual with a 5.60 FIP, 5.04 XFIP, gives up crazy power to the left-handed side, 195 expected ISO. I just don't see how the answer for me isn't the Minnesota Twins today. I absolutely love them. And I think that you talk about some of these other teams that exist on the slate. I do think there's a world where we get Boston jammed a little bit more. And the Dodgers are,
I do not see that,
most popular team on the slate. You really don't think that Boston's going to be all that popular?
To stack them 1 through 5, you have to use Darvish basically. So maybe in those lineups, but I think a lot of people are not going to want to do that with such good pitching on this slate and offenses that are cheaper. I mean, Boston is really expensive. The bottom half isn't, but bottom half of these lineups are never going to get much love. Like guys like Sogard and I don't know. Yeah, I don't think that Boston's going to get steamed personally at all.
Really? Well, here's the thing. Byron Buxton's not going to play baseball today. I can guarantee you that. There's nothing that we have
Their
to
lineup's
play
out.
for. Oh, it is?
Yeah.
When did it drop? Did it drop while we were on this show?
It did. It dropped like 10 minutes ago, probably.
Okay. Who's leading off? Oh, God, Austin Martin. Why would they do that to me? I wanted to see leadoff Keishel. That's what I was hoping for. But we've got Martin, Wallner, Keishel, Larnach, Royce Lewis, Cody Clemens. Man, Wallner in the 2-hole and Clemens in the 6-hole. Of course, I ended up on the wrong side of that. I thought it would be a little flip-flop in terms of betting because lineup order matters a lot when you're betting home runs. I just want as many plate appearances as possible. It's the cheat code. And for some reason, people don't care about stuff like that. They're not lineup order immune. I thought Duran had a chance to lead off. He's leading, Duran, sorry. He's leading off today, and I'm pretty darn happy about it. Eric going to say play Elder to be contrarian. I am absolutely not going to say such things. Skull, I'm going to say such things throughout this entire one. If JJ looks bad, I'm going to be in rubble. And yes, Aaron Rodgers will then ruin my life from another division and another conference. That's pretty annoying. But for today, the team that will ruin my life is the Minnesota Twins, my favorite for large field GPPs. I just hate that they put Martin in this lineup because I don't need another outfielder. That's not what I was looking for. I was looking for something else, something useful. And, no matter what, you were going to get a cheap catcher out there. But I love Brooks Lee. I think that he's going to be a sneaky part of those snacks too. I'm just obsessed with Minnesota against this K. Dana fellow.
Yeah, I mean, Brooks Lee hitting 7th. He's cheap at least. But yeah, I like this lineup. Without Buxton, they're so cheap. Yep. I love these. This is another spot I love, and Minnesota's my second favorite stack. These pitchers like Dana, who have been bad all season, that come up and look okay in their first start. You never know. Adrenaline, whatever the case may be. A lot of times it comes back down to earth in a big way for these guys. I like Minnesota a lot here. They're my second favorite stack on the board.
Let's go. I knew that you were my favorite at Stokastic, period, and I hated everybody else. I knew that was the case. I knew it.
Have you thought about talking to someone about that?
Just talking about it. Just saying it out loud. Anyway, we continue on our merry way, as I love to always say, because it's fun. Hey, all right, let's go to some other stacks, because if we go over here to the old exposures tab, take a look. It's in our book, Reading Rainbow. Did I not favorite anything? That seems like a good idea, Eric, huh? Let's favorite my top 150. Let's head to the exposures tab, where I do think one other team is very interesting for single entry. Because if you had to tell me one pitcher got steamed up here, how would you not feel good knowing that Yu Darvish was chalk and you had Cincinnati on the other side? That's got to feel like a spot that you could at least attack to some extent. I'm not saying go crazy baby with it, but overall, I love the idea of Cincy. I love the idea of the Dodgers, but look how spread out exposures are in our top 150 here. Angels, Dodgers, Minnesota. Basically exactly what I said there, but there's one team down here. Where did Cincy go? They're not even showing up in a lineup in the 150, but this is purely just assuming that Yu Darvish got steamed up to a place where, as Matt said, there's some stacks that are expensive that we want to get to. The Dodgers, more expensive with a Muncy thrown into the mix there. We've got lots of places where we can kind of get a little bit different if we need to, but pitcher is not one of them really, outside of Simeon Woods Richardson taking some concentrated shots on that. But Yu Darvish, if he gets steamed up, I think there's a world to get in there. Is there a leverage stack that you like on this slate, whether that's against Wu or Webb or something of that nature? Because outside of Darvish, there's not really a need for me to want to go completely nuts against them. Like, I think the Athletics would have to be it by default just because of the ballpark.
Yeah, I get that. And I'm going to say an even grosser one, but I'm going to say the Rockies. Just because Glasnow is going to be so highly owned. Look how he's getting jammed in the Sims. I mean, we're not the only place that likes him. We're not sneaking up on anyone with an $8,700 Glasnow. Talk about higher stake stuff. He's going to be not 100% owned, but much, much higher than his top two pitchers percentage would tell you to play him, and that's normally the case. The difference today is there's 3 other aces on the slate. So again, I think not playing him is probably enough, but man, what happens if his back tightens up? Or what happens if Glasnow just like puts a bunch of guys on base like he's prone to do and his back tightens up? Like, yeah, I mean, again, I don't think the Rockies are going to go off here. I don't think it's likely to happen, but I think there's enough leverage there where if I were playing 150, I'd have a little bit.
Not a lot, baby girl, just a little bit. But I think the A's are probably at still for me. Just, I mean, the quality of hitters that they have in a lineup.
I agree with that too. Like their quality hitters are much higher than the Rockies. So there's like that argument, but Crochet is going to be half his own. So that's my argument.
Shea Langoliers, 257 expected ISO against lefties. Brent Rooker, 229 expected ISO. This Thomas fellow is breaking everything. Only 47 plate appearances, but 350 expected ISO against lefties. What in the absolute F? Why was he sent down, or why was he just down, period? Get these guys up sooner. I hate baseball rules. I hate trying to like service time finagle your way out of things. I hate that. I know it's gotten better. I'm sure Emac can tell you the way that it once was, but it's actually the worst thing ever. I want to see the best players. I want to see the guys who hit bombs. And this guy hits bombs. 25-degree average launch angle against lefties too. I might be talking myself into a Cam Thomas bet.
Yeah.
Or Colby Thomas. I said his name wrong. That's never a good start.
Oh, I had such a good lineup the other night with Kikuchi, who Colby Thomas ended up hitting a 3-run bomb, but man, Kikuchi was struggling in the first. I don't know. You probably didn't see this or whatever. But you see how he was dead because freaking Taylor Ward, with the bases loaded and 2 out, misplayed a fly ball for a 3-run double. I mean, you can't come back from that. So he was probably dead anyways, but that hurt.
Taylor Ward's hit his 30 bombs this year. He's packing it in. He's done.
That was something.
He's done. Yeah. There's some shocking home run numbers this year when you look at it in hindsight, like him and Neto, 30 and 25. I don't think people remember Zach Neto didn't play the first month of the season. Like that's a pretty good combo to have at the top of that lineup going forward. I mean, whatever with Mike Trout going forward, but boy, oh boy. Dayron Sharp, do. Why are we bringing up Dayron Sharp in the chat? That's wild. What are we doing? Vikings are ass. Your ass, Alaya.
I don't think the Vikings are ass. Based on what? Why would we think
I have no idea. I have no idea if we're good or not. I have no clue yet.
Right. I agree with that, but I don't think you're ass because you have good coaching and you've been good like on the margins like forever recently. So
I can pinpoint the exact moment that everything went wrong for us last year. It was when Darisaw got hurt. I don't know if you remember this play. It was right before the end of the first half. And we were in pretty noticeable, we were rocking. We were cooking with gas. And all of a sudden, we lose the best offensive lineman or top 3 offensive linemen in football. And all of a sudden, Sam Darnold saw ghosts. It was over. He couldn't protect his blind side. We were dead. And of course, he's inactive for tonight, which, by the way, NFL Live Before Lock coming up in just 15 minutes. I'm going to make sure to get us out right at 4:14. So 7:14 Eastern, 4:14 Pacific. So we can roll it over to the guys and they can give you all the coverage that they need to over here. But any of these popular stacks that you're not a fan of, because there's one I would say that kind of just seems a little bit weird. Like, I don't like Bryce Elder. I did bet some home runs against with the Cubbies here, but like, I think that there's some wild ownership on Texas right now. I don't quite get it. I'm not trying to pick on Jose Quintana this much, but like, I hate the ballpark so much in Arlington. How many times have we seen like an Arlington baseball game go nuclear this year? I feel like very, 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 very limited amount of times.
I don't see high ownership on Texas right now.
I'm saying in the Sims, they're showing up 10 points.
Oh, sorry.
In the Sims.
Oh, I get it because they're cheap and they have power. They're so cheap. Like their 2 hitters, 3K, their 3 hitter is like, they're all 3,500 or less. So they have a place on this slate. I agree with you. Like as a 5-man, I don't love them, but I would venture that a lot of what you're getting there is like 3-mans and 2-mans.
All right. Well, 5-man stack exposure. We've got 10.7% of them coming in, which is a little bit aggressive.
So it likes the expensive pitching. It likes Glasnow and one of the top guys.
Yeah, and that's where Minnesota has the utility. I think they do. And then LA again.
Angels,
This is both sides are both LAs, but I suppose. But the Dodger one is going to be very popular. Probably should be, but there's no question that the Angels, with as many righties as they're rolling out there, have you seen Samuel Woods Richardson's numbers against righties specifically? Because unfortunately, I covered that a little bit last night.
He's not good. Let's just say
241 expected ISO against righties, just straight out. Been reverse splits his entire MLB career, which is a very limited sample size. It's 2 years, basically, 2024, 2025. Well, last year, 166 expected ISO to him, 140 to lefties. This year, 172 to lefties, 241 to righties. That's a ridiculous number. Something's going to give in that game. I have both of there. Jeff Williams, $1.99. Thank you for the super chat. Really, really appreciate you. Any Cubs love on DK? I just talked about them here taking on Bryce Elder, the Elder Wand. He is awful at pitching, but I like the home run numbers. I like the prices that I was able to lock in. I don't love them for DFS because you're not getting a discount on anybody, and the wind's not blowing out in Wrigley. We are in Atlanta where the players play, and we ride on the things like every day. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, good shout out. But for me, I think I like the Cubs a little more than you. Elder stinks. The Cubs are cheap. I mean, they've got guys missing out of their lineup, but if you look at the totality here, I mean, it's basically all under 4K. Crow, Armstrong, and Bush, 4,400 and 4,500. That's it. So I get the Cubs ownership. Elder's not good. He was good against this team last time out, but that doesn't mean that he's going to be good here. Matter of fact, it kind of makes me like the Cubs more. They are getting ownership. This slate, though, comes down to what I said, like, I don't know, however long ago. There are a few really, really good pitchers on this slate. After that, it's mostly junk. So there's a lot of good stacks tonight. The Cubs on another slate might look better here, but they're kind of like the Mariners to me, where the pitcher is certainly someone you want to pick on, but there are just better spots. And that's just how I feel. I do think the Cubs and Mariners, though, are two good stacks here that on a lot of slates would be the best overall places to go, just not tonight.
Yeah, let's talk about the Mariners for a second, because this is one that I thought the Sims would like. Miles Mikolas is so horrific, so horrendous, and yet I'm having a tough time really pulling the trigger on Seattle in a meaningful way. I think Cal Raleigh is an amazing, incredible one-off play for today. In fact, he's in my single entry lineup. But outside of him, I can't really get to anything here on this slate where we either need cheapies, we have better stacks in great ballparks. I mean, Seattle's one of those teams that you get so many of these solo shots, but can they move the line in a ballpark like this? I mean, the home road splits for Mikolas are real, but there's no doubt this is, oh, by the way, Burleson is in that lineup. I don't know why he wasn't in my sheet earlier, but he's batting third today. Is this his first game back in a while? It is surely indeed. 828 is his last game that he played. So good amendment to make in my sheet before we finish out this show in 11 minutes. But Seattle, how do you kind of go about playing them here against Mikolas? Because we kind of agree Mikolas is dog doo-doo.
So I'm not playing them here for a few reasons. And it's not because I don't want to pick on Mikolas, because he's not good.
Yeah.
But so usually he's a lot better at home. Well, now you get him going to an even better pitcher's park. So I'm not sure I buy into that. Most of all, it's the price tags for me in this park. They're the most expensive team on the slate. I just can't get there in this park when I like Boston more at what I think is going to come in at. Boston will be higher owned, but not significantly. And Boston's in the better spot as far as upside, and they're in the much better park. You know, that's not the only team I like more than them or similar to them at much cheaper price tags. So it's just really hard for me to get to Seattle on a slate with very good pitching options up top that I want to play some of. So I get playing Seattle. I don't think they're a bad stack. Anytime you can pick on Mikolas, go for it. They're coming off a monster weekend after they had struggled for a while. I get it. It's just not a team I'm getting to personally.
talk a little FanDuel here. I think that is going to be a good way for us to round out this show to some extent. We'll maybe go through and build out a DK lineup here as well. We'll throw our home runs in with the dong of the day, and all that goodness, and we'll get ourselves the heck up out of here to go watch some Monday Night Football. I feel like this is like when America really takes off here in the football department. Last night was a treat. Sunday night was about as good a football as you are ever going to see, or as good of a game as you're ever going to see in your lifetime. I don't feel that way about today's, but I'm obviously cheering for one of these teams, and here we go. But let's cover this on FanDuel, where I think you got to start with the Dodgers. How do you feel about a 53.8% owned Shohei Ohtani, 31.5% Freddie Freeman, 30.4% Max Muncy? What a time to be alive. Mookie Betts is nearly 30% owned. 1, 2, 3, 4. If you're playing them over on FanDuel today, get ready for what the kids call overlap, Matt.
Yeah, I guess it helps that you can only play 4 of them, kind of, but
yes,
they look amazing just because, ownership taken aside, the matchup, their price tags, hard not to want to play them. But you do end up eating into so much ownership that it makes you, think twice about it. I still like Boston a ton. They're more expensive, so they're going to be lower owned. Hard to get away from the Dodgers, like fully though, no doubt.
Yeah, Bregman's 3,600, so I mean he's pretty attainable, and Duran is 3,500, very attainable. What you kind of said applies to Rafaela, who 2,900, Romy Gonzalez 3,200. There's pinch hit risk that will exist with Romy, with pretty much anytime you get some of those righties that get platooned in certain spots, it's hard to really know how it's going to pop up or when. You're going to get at least, I would assume, 3 at bats in some of those spots. But I mean, Morales, I guess it's not really going to get the platoon because Morales is right-handed. So, is what it is. We've got some interesting stuff with that Boston lineup today. I'm just happy that Duran is leading off because I didn't expect that, but I was kind of hoping for it. And here we are on FanDuel today. If you play the Dodgers, you are going to hold hands with a lot of ownership. But I will also say this, the Angels are pulling quite a bit of ownership. Not enough where I want to be getting myself over to the, Simeon Woods Richardson piece there. That is DraftKings exclusive for me. But Minnesota looking pretty fine over on FanDuel as well. You also get a pretty interesting piece down here with the Cubbies. Ian Happ is 3,500, more expensive. Again, the Cubs are really expensive relative to what they are even over on DK, where I guess it's come down a little bit, but they're still over, where you would want them to be in a spot in an Atlanta ballpark as opposed to wind out Wrigley. But man, oh man, do the Cubs look good. And maybe this is the spot we can get PCA back on track. Jack in a Bag. That was a thing back in the day over on an old stream. And boy, do I feel good about PCA in this spot against Elder as a one-off. But here we are. Anything else on FanDuel you want to discuss?
I don't think so. It doesn't look that much different from DK, only like even more concentrated ownership. So we see it similarly.
Yep. Let's do a DraftKings lineup here for the people. We got the time to be able to do such things. I'm going to click on Tyler Glasnow. I will let you be the decider on how we want to go about this. What stack / what pitcher would you like to throw into this lineup?
I will choose the stack. Let's do Minnesota.
Oh my God. Love you. Love you. Love you. I won't do the Simeon Woods Richardson piece because we don't need it when we're stacking up Minnesota. You don't need it as much. Although I guess, old school correlation stuff. I started with Cody Clemens here at first base. I don't think we got to try to entertain anything else there, but yeah, I will go this and Royce Lewis to begin. I'll let you add a couple of Twins as well.
So I like the Martin call leading off. It's so cheap.
Okay. We'll throw in Martin. I'm going to say, where else can I play him? I thought I saw multi-positional eligibility. Nope, no, that's just on FanDuel. Cool. Austin Martin. We'll throw a little Matt Wallner in our lives as well.
Yeah.
So we've gone 1, 2, 5, 6. And I want to throw Brooks Lee in just because I think he's a great way to get different switch hitter and opportunities galore here. Let's get off to a good start so we don't have to deal with the good Angels bullpen. I want the bad Angels bullpen. That's what I'm looking forward to here in this spot for sure. Let's complete this lineup. See what else. Oh, you got to click out of the game. I always forget that step every single time, whether I'm on this show or not. We're going to run the lineup simulation here. Ended up with Crochet alongside it. So you're going to like that. Renifo in there. Ohtani, obviously 41%. Look at that. It's a great lineup. It's a great day to be alive and be a Minnesota sports fan, right?
I am not surprised by that at all.
Maybe I can talk myself into feeling that way, actually. How do you feel about the Brewers? I don't feel that great about the ballpark in any way, shape, or form. And I just think it's a meh spot on today's slate. We have so many other like really good hitting environments or ballparks. And then we got some gas cans. I don't know if I put it into the territory of like Latz is an absolute gas can, but he's been bad. Just walks a lot of guys. Doesn't really give up a lot of power.
Yeah, I agree. I'm with you on all that. Not like the best matchup considering who else is on this slate. Not the worst matchup, not a great ballpark. All that said, they've been amazing this year. So any slate you can stack them at like lower ownership, I'm about it. I'm just personally not getting to them tonight.
Yeah, I thought Andrew Vaughn was an interesting look. He only has 3 homers against lefties this year. Doesn't that seem wild considering the ridiculousness that he's been putting up here? 203 expected ISO is nice. 16.5 degree launch angle is nice. Never strikes out against lefties, sub 15%. One thing that I always noticed with him with the White Sox, really strikeout averse against lefties, but only the 3 bombs against them is a little surprising. And this is a cavern of a ballpark. Not saying you can't do it, but really hard for me to look at you look at the Brewers on paper. I mean, this has to be the most overachieving baseball team that in recent memory for sure.
Yeah.
With the bats, that is. I'm not talking their pitching. Their pitching is flat out good.
Yeah, I mean, no one expect. I mean, I still don't get how they're this good. I don't think it lasts in the playoffs, but I mean, who am I to say that it won't? So I'm with you. One of the most surprising teams to be this consistently good all season. I mean, you certainly see teams that are random that get hot towards the end, but I mean, this team's just been like the best team in baseball all year, which is a surprise, a big surprise.
Yeah. The Milwaukee Brewers, they have a 4.3 implied run total in Vegas for what it's worth. And then you got to be able to skew it based on the VIG that exists there. And then we've got some interesting spots across the board here. Oh, I guess you're right. 4.6. I just ran it. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. What is here right now in this moment is the dong of the day. Dong of the day. Dong of the day. I just sold out on that. It's okay. Matt Bellman, who's going yard for the people in their lineups tonight?
I'm going to go with a guy that hasn't hit I don't know when the last time he hit a homer is. I feel like I might have called him. I feel like I might have called him out recently, but I honestly can't remember. Alex Bregman going yard tonight.
What a call. Right on right. Crime. We can do that. I'm just going to go to the mega chalk for me in my home run model, and it's Cal Raleigh, who I can't really get to at his odds to bet. But boy, oh boy, do I love it as a one-off at catcher. Kind of feels like cheating when he's the second most likely guy in my model did home run behind Shohei Ohtani. But if I pick Shohei Ohtani, boy, am I not giving you anything good. But I think Cal Raleigh, this is probably the best spot to potentially get a little bit different with catcher. He's my favorite one-off to get to on the entire slate because of the positionality. But that does it for us on MLB Live Before Lock. Go follow me at Eric Lindquist. Go follow Matt at Fantasy Tips Matt. Any final words for the people as we get out of here?
No, always a fun show, and I can't wait to do it again with you on Thursday.
Pierre and Henio Suarez bomb, Drew Gilbert throwing it out there as well. Freeman Muncy back-to-back dongs, like that call. By the way, Max Muncy north of plus 300. Might have to dip my toes into that pool today, but we got to get ourselves the heck up out of here. It's NFL Live Before Lock time. Don't go anywhere. Click on the Stokastic YouTube channel. Hit subscribe if it's your first time hanging out with us. And check out NFL Live Before Lock starting right meow. Go Vikings, Skol, all of that stuff. We'll see you tomorrow. I'll probably be in a shit mood. Bye.